Hey there, anime fans. If you're looking for a deep dive into the world of fairy tale, you've come to the right place. Today, we're going to explore why the villains in this beloved Shonen series just can't compete with the heavyweights of other anime. Uh, in a nutshell, the quality of a hero is often defined by their adversary, yet Fairy Tail manages to persist without a continuous lineup of outstanding antagonists. The absence of truly iconic villains in this series stands out significantly, particularly when considering that shonen manga is renowned for its exceptional villain characters. Villains like Frieza, Cell, Majin Buu, Madara, Aizen, Dio, Hisoka, All for One, and Nahito are highly acclaimed due to their impact in their respective narratives. However, Fairy Tail falls short when it comes to creating villains that rival these popular characters. Instead, many of the antagonists serve merely as obstacles for the main characters to overcome, often with little lasting influence. Uh, Even the primary villains of an arc typically lack the enduring power displayed by other shonen series adversaries. In Fairy Tail, the scarcity of memorable villains can be attributed to its fast-paced storytelling and structure. The arcs in this series are shorter and move more swiftly, leaving little time for detailed villain development. Although there's an overall narrative that stretches across various arcs, the show prioritizes humor and hero development over creating a truly remarkable villain. While Fairy Tail offers exciting fight sequences and some decent antagonists, it doesn't reach the level of iconic villains like Frieza from Dragon Ball or Chimera Ant King from Hunter x Hunter. In comparison to other shonen series, Fairy Tail moved at a fast pace, swiftly advancing through storylines and adversaries. Shows like Dragon Ball Z, with characters such as Cell or Naruto with Madara, are well known because they devoted numerous episodes to detailing their intentions, power levels, aspirations, and for instance, Frieza was a persistent threat throughout the Namek saga in Dragon Ball Z, an extended arc that spanned multiple chapters. In contrast, Fairy Tail would have likely covered numerous smaller arcs within that same time frame, each concluding with a different final antagonist. Although Fairy Tail did feature longer storylines, especially towards the end, these villains were generally less prominent compared to their counterparts in other series. In the course of expanding the primary characters in Fairy Tail, author Hiro Mashima frequently introduced temporary adversaries for the main cast to engage in battles. This resulted in numerous generic antagonists that primarily served as opponents for certain characters. Mashima would often endeavor to develop the central villains of each story arc, yet with varying degrees of success. His preferred character traits for major villains tended to be malevolent, influenced by a dark force, or excessively proud. This pattern was predominantly observed in the early stages of the series, but Mashima would occasionally allow main villains to undergo redemption, which sometimes proved effective depending on the right of the game. And he decides that Liu Kang's, however, these redemptive moments often diminished the intrigue and allure of these villains, stripping them of their edge. In Fairy Tale, the narrative followed a series of self-contained adventures rather than a continuous plot like other shonen manga. However, author Hiro Mashima cleverly wove various story threads throughout his work, creating a covert narrative that ran beneath the surface. He subtly hinted at Zeref's role as the principal adversary since the beginning of the series, gradually building him up to be an intriguing antagonist, while many one-time villains or even major arc villains lacked depth. Mashima ensured that Zeref had a rich backstory and compelling motivations. His connection with Natsu grew increasingly significant in the final arcs, adding layers of complexity to the protagonist's reasons for opposing him. Ultimately, Zeref stood out as the most captivating villain in the series, even surpassing Acnologia, the final antagonist in the last few chapters. Although Zeref doesn't enjoy the same level of fame as other shonen antagonists, and some fans find his youthful appearance underwhelming, this is acceptable because Mashima prioritized creating an entertaining and action-packed manga over crafting iconic villains. Villainy was not one of Mashima's strong suits. Instead, he focused on the hero's world-building, action sequences, and humor. Fairy Tale is a good series despite its villains not reaching the same heights as other shonen series. Most of the villains primarily served as adversaries for the characters to battle, but Mashima was still able to create enough antagonists for most main characters to fight against. In contrast, Eiichiro Oda from One Piece often struggles to ensure all his numerous characters get their moment in the spotlight. And it may seem unusual that Fairy Tale doesn't have a truly iconic villain, but having an iconic villain isn't necessary for a series to be great, and Fairy Tales demonstrates this Safa series. So there you have it. And while Fairy Tale may not have the most memorable villains in the shonen universe, it still offers a thrilling and engaging story that keeps fans coming back for more damage. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more awesome anime content. And next, oh, and one last thing. Remember, just because a series doesn't have an iconic villain doesn't mean it's not worth watching. After all, who needs a great villain when you have awesome heroes like Natsu and the rest of the Fairy Tale Guild?